Hi there, everybody. I'm just going to give it 1 minute before we get started. Welcome. All right, here we go. I am Dorothy the organizer, and welcome to this Facebook Live organizing session. We're going to spend about 30 minutes together today with some Q&A and some tips. And I want to thank all of you yesterday for watching the video that Marty and I did about our COVID-19 experience. We had over 2,000 of you on and or viewing, so thank you, and hope to do more helpful work for you. Again, 30 seconds. Hi there, Kylie, glad you're here. The first thing I'm going to do is give you some general tips. Then we'll cover a few of the requests that have already come in. And then I have one quick question for you that I need some guidance on. I'll give you a couple of resources, and finally I'll take some questions if you have any. And the first thing out of the blocks is on those general organizing tips. Remember, when you are organizing, the smaller the item, the longer it takes to do. Hi there, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie Crook coming in. So when you take a junk drawer, for example, Liz, Harvey, all of you are coming in. Thank you so much. When you take a junk drawer, you have some larger items that you can pull out, and then you've got all that stuff at the bottom, all those little itty bitty things. And what do you do with those? That's the stuff that really kind of takes a long time to deal with. So I just want you to remember, the smaller the items, the longer it can take. And of course, paper is always a rascal. The next tip I want to give to you is it's okay to have what I call an I don't know bin. Like, I don't know what to do with it. So as you're organizing your desk or dresser, keep going. But if you just don't know what to do with something, don't let it hang you up. Just simply say, I don't know, and put it in the I don't know bin. JC, you're back again today. Thanks, JC. Rupert. So we want to make sure that we keep that momentum going. The next thing I want you to think about is what I call a pile system. So let me say hi to Christine Cassidy. She says she loved my book. Thank you so much. The pile system is piling versus filing, and some of us just don't like to file. So I want you to think about what's best for your brain and how you operate. Liz Story's here, and she says thank you for this. You're welcome. So if, for example, you're a piler and a stacker, I want you to think about putting all of your papers into groups, like with like, and I'll talk about that again in a couple of minutes. And then you can just put it on, for example, a bookshelf. So take the books off the bookshelf and have your piling system there rather than a filing system. And Roberta Clinton Murray, hello to you too. I've got one of my Japanese organizers coming in. Thank you for coming in from Japan. I appreciate you. The other and last quick tip in order to get started is to avoid perfection at all costs. This is important because when we get hung up on perfection, it kind of keeps us going off the path. We want to stay focused and in the moment. Heather Schwartz is asking, is it the same with clothes? Like, I'm a draper, not a hanger. So already we've got some questions coming in. That's great. I'll quickly answer that one, and I'll try to get to them as we go. But for clothes, if you're not a person who likes to hang things up, get hooks. Put them around in the closet, and it makes life so much easier. Kimberly Sanders says that she's loving the videos. Okay, well, I've got a lot coming next week, so things will be picking up. Now, I would like to cover a couple of the questions that have come in already. I had hundreds coming in, so I thought I'd take at least some of those. Heather says, hooks for the win. I'm glad. Yes, I use a lot of hooks too. Don't have a lot of time to hang up, and I still want to be organized. Remember, this isn't, it's a difference between being neat and organized. And yes, I am neat, but I also find easier ways for myself to be organized because I do it all day. But I have Barbara Riegelsberger. writing in, and she says that she has a large shed that is a total mess. Deanna Cradwell, hi there. And Jana, it's good to see you. Hooks for the husband will happen, she says. But back to Barbara's question, the shed is a total mess. Her husband died a couple of years ago, and she lost her cat 2 weeks ago. So all that stuff is in there. One of my dear friends, Janet Lamping, just came in. Hi, Janet. How are you? So how do you deal with a shed that has all this stuff in it? And my suggestion to you and to Debbie Biddix, who just joined us, is to look in that shed and say, okay, I'm not motivated, I'm not interested, I'm going to just take out 10 items from the shed today, just 10. Now, it's not always going to be like this, but do, please, bring out 10, look at them, sort like with like if there is anything, and make those decisions. Do I want to keep this? Do I want to give it away? Do I want to use it? Is it trash? And just make those decisions. Hi there, Jessica, and there's my Taiwanese organizer coming in. I can't read your name because it is in your script, but I thank you for being here. So 10 items to get started today and tomorrow, and you'll soon see that you can build up getting into that shed more and more as the days go by. I also have something here from Lori Shepherd Pettit, and she says that her mother also passed away. She rented a mobile home to her nephew and his girlfriend, and she has had to pull all of her mom's stuff out. It's in the basement, it's overloaded, and now it's also upstairs in one of the spare bedrooms. So, hi there, Peggy Wallace McKinney, glad you're here. What I would say to you is if that spare room is full and you want to bring the stuff up from the basement, which is what you said, you've got to start in that spare room. And it's the same thing. It's another issue of motivation, us knowing we want to do something and just not getting to it. And I suggest using bookending. This is where you call somebody and you say, I say I'm going to call Peggy Wallace. Peggy, I want to do my closet, or I want to do my guest room. And I tell her I'm going to start at 1:30 and I'm going to finish at 2. And then I call her beforehand, and I also call her when I'm done. And then I can report in what I'm doing. That is a great way to have partners, and I have one like Janet Hoopy calling in. Thank you so much, Kathy Jewell. Good to see you. And just have this partner program. So call the person before, call the person after your organizing project, and keep them short. It's okay to do that. I'll take one more question from here, and then I will take, then I have a question for you, then I'll take your questions. How's that? Another one comes in from Halia La Rochelle, and her granddaughter has tons of elastics, ribbons in the container, and has all these little snapping, they shut, they have it divided up so beautifully for her hair supplies. And guess what? Granddaughter doesn't put them right in the little organized bins, and the little organized, it looks like a tackle box, I guess. So what I suggest is let the user design how the user wants to use the box. Sounds to me like granddaughter has a hard time putting things away exactly in those teeny tiny small bins. I'm type A, it would be perfect. But if you're not that way, and it sounds like she's not, I would suggest having just one larger bin without all those little dividers for her to put it in and rifle through to get to the stuff she wants. That might just be an easier, organized way for her. So I hope that's helpful. Deanna Cradwell-Nika is asking, how do we let go of stuff when we feel guilty about throwing it out? Yeah, my dad died when I was young. I've got things of his, had things of his, and, I don't want to give those things away, or so I think. But a lot has been taught to me by my hoarders clientele. These are the folks on the Hoarder Show and my private clients. So I would suggest, to really take a look at the item, whether it's a book or a beautiful wine glass or anything like that. Take a look at it, describe it, write about it if you need to, and then I would take a photo of it. And if it really means a lot, then frame the photo. I had one client who wanted to get rid of a piano. It was an upright piano, and they just took a picture of them all at the piano, and on the back of the piano picture, they wrote all the little stories about the piano. They got rid of the piano, but the picture's there hanging on the wall with all the stories on back. So I hope that helps you, Diana. Deb is asking, I have ADHD, so organization is difficult for me. Do you have any information to help me? Oh, absolutely I do. One of the things that I do sometimes for my clients is when carrying things around, you know what? Next video, I'll have some props with me to show you. But in terms of being organized, I try to just keep one place for everything. And I like to use as many clear-sided items as possible. So for my cosmetics and toiletries, I keep it in there so when I can see through the bag and it's easier for me. I'm also the kind of person who likes to have things laying out on my desk so that I can see them. Often those of us who have ADHD want to be able to see our things, but too much clutter makes it too confusing. And Deb, I'm considering having an ADHD specialist come on in the next couple of weeks to share more about that. So thank you. Liz likes the story about the piano, and Melody Bruckner is here. That's great. I'm so glad. Now, I am going to ask you one quick question after I get a sip of water. That question, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like a yes or no answer from all of you, and if you could just put it down in the comments section for me. But last week I was supposed to launch my How to Become a Professional Organizer course, and it's fabulous and ready to go, and I hit the pause button because I was just too worried about, well, the situation in our world right now. So my question to you is, do you think in the month of April I should move forward with releasing a course on how to become a professional organizer? I don't know the best answer yet. My team is looking at all the best ways to think about this, and I would appreciate your help. So if you could type yes, Dorothy, or just yes, go ahead and do it, or no, I would hold. I would appreciate hearing that, and that goes in the comments. So if you could do that right now, I would appreciate that. I'll wait for just 20 seconds while you do that. And then I'm going to head into the resources. And I've got Judy joining us. Love the idea of doing a special organizing segment for ADHD. I will do that. Another person says yes to that. So I will have some invited guests. In terms of resources, I would like to ask that you go to dorothytheorganizer.com. And I've got all sorts of organizing videos. I have just lists of organizing tips. Hi there, Heidi Johnson. Bev, thank you for being here. Liz, again, good to see you. And go to dorothytheorganizer.com. That's where all those tips are listed, okay? So the other thing is I mentioned it yesterday, I have a free organizing guide at the top. It's the COVID-19 organizing guide. So it has a little bit about how to manage your house during the crisis, and then also more about what to do. It's a 10-day guide, what you can do each day. Okay, what else do I want to tell you before I let us go into the question and answers that I'm going to need from you? The YouTube channel, Dorothy the Organizer YouTube channel, has all sorts of organizing videos. So if you want to organize a closet, you want to organize the junk drawer, the kitchen, under the sink, whatever it is, there are, 140 videos there. So it's all free. Go for it. Please look, share it, whatever you need. The other thing is digitallifecloud.com. This is where you want to go for your free download of your essential medical information. And this is probably the top priority for organizing over these next couple of weeks. It's a 3-page document. Download that document. It's free, digitallifecloud.com. Fill in the information. It's essential for medical emergencies. And okay, you want to get your stuff up in the cloud too, that's great, but at least get that piece taken care of for yourself. That way you can go straight to any doctor or drive-through or hospital if you need to, and you're all set. I'm seeing Deborah Olson saying, yes, by mid-April there should be more info about the pandemic to proceed. Oh, she's responding to my question. Thank you. I'm seeing so many of you respond. Thank you so much. Okay, and people are also asking if I'm still doing organizing, and the answer is yes. My entire team is doing virtual organizing. We have loads of clients who are calling in, so if you do want organizing help, you can contact me through info@dorothytheorganizer.com. Finally, Jessica just posted the COVID-19 guide at dorothytheorganizer.com, and Deborah Masick is asking about digitallifecloud.com. digitallifecloud.com, and that is for the emergency medical organizing document, okay? So we're at 1:15 here in the Pacific. So hi, Rhonda Sharon, how are you? We'll take, let's see, what do I want to do for you? Organizing questions from you. If you have any, bring them up. If I'm not seeing them come up in the feed right now, I'll go back to the other 100 questions I have here. So I'm just going to wait a second. If you did post a question earlier, please feel free to repost it so I can see it again right now in the feed. Okay? So while I wait for some of those questions to come in, I'm going to move on to Cynthia Cantor. And she says she needs to clean out closets and junk bins, and she is partially disabled and can't get down on the floor and can't bend over. So what I'm recommending, and JC, I see yours about the glove box and seat pocket in the car. Okay, I'll take care of that. And hi, Greg Wells, how are you? Glad to see you again. For Cynthia, who is partially disabled, I would like for you to think about 80% staging, 20% organizing. That means you need to get a chair for I don't know what your disability is, so forgive me if I'm not hitting it on target. But if you can't get on the floor easily and it's hard to get up, I want you to get pillows for your knees. I want you to get a chair out. I want you to get markers, baggies, a box, a trash bin. Get all your supplies. Get everything set up. And yes, that staging of just being able to do this for yourself is going to take 80% of the time, and then you'll do 20% of the organizing, but you will get it done. So I hope that is helpful for you. I have another one here, JC, about the glove box and seat pocket in the car. You know there's a car organizing video on my YouTube channel, Dorothy the Organizer, for that very thing. Look up car organizing. But yeah, I like to pull it all out and just keep the essentials in there. And just really think through again. Like I said a moment ago, this is all about getting prepared before you do the organizing so that when you do the organizing, it works and it's easier for you. So pull that stuff out of the car, organize it, and put back only what you need. We've got Gigi. How do you yourself be able to let go of keepsake type items? I feel so guilty. We've got, so many of us have this guilt, which is we're being confronted about it right now, aren't we? Because here we are at home. But if you have the space and you have some guilt, I would say you can keep some of the things. But remember, here's how I deal with it for myself. Let's say my mom made a dress for me and it's hanging in my closet, and I look at it all the time and I see the dress and I kind of wince and I go, ugh, I feel guilty about organizing that. I never really loved it, but I should keep it. You can see how I'm talking about it. I'm telling the story about it. Look at yourself in the mirror and see how your face looks when you're describing that item, or for me, the dress. Or if I look at the dress and I say, whoa, I love this dress. Every time I see it, it makes me feel so good. Well, guess what? I probably should keep it. If I'm not having happy emotions about it, then let it go. And we all know Marie Kondo. She's fabulous. She talks about the joy of organizing, and this is, I suppose, one way to do it. But if you don't have a partner with you, well, maybe you're alone or you live alone, you can use the mirror to actually watch yourself describe how you feel about that item in which you feel guilty. And then watch back this video to find out the other answers that I gave about guilt a little earlier. Let's see, I've got Aileen Woodside. I thought you were Jennifer Saunders. Well, I'm not, but I'll look up and see who she is. Okay, next question. Staging, that's something for me to think about. I've got Lori Myers Robinson is asking, the home I live in was built by my great-grandparents, and that was in the Great Depression, and I have just been using my laundry room, which is small, for, an everything closet. So I've cleaned it all out. Now what do I do with this stuff? And that's a big question that's coming up for everybody. Here I am organizing. I'm ready to get I am finally ready to get rid of my stuff, and I can't take it anywhere because a lot of the charitable organizations are closed. Yes, you are going to need to create a staging area for your stuff right now. Okay, and you want to just box it up or bag it up and have it ready to go for when the virus is hopefully complete, and then we can start taking our things to a charitable organization. I hope that's helpful for you. Patty Richards Hendricks says, I just moved in with my boyfriend. We have 2 of everything. The garage is full of my stuff. Where do we start? Well, I call this the terrible twos, when you have 2 of everything. But I'll tell you what Marty and I did. Marty's my husband, and he was on the video with me yesterday. We brought, for example, everything together. So when I had all of my art come in, he had all of his artwork, and we staged that artwork all the way around the house, and we looked at it. And I got first pick, so I picked my favorite piece from his and mine. And then he went and picked his favorite piece. And there are some that I really, sorry, Marty, that I don't love. And there are some that he doesn't like of mine. But we each get to put up our favorites. And that was the happy medium. So if you can do that with the other kitchen items, things that are in the, decorative items, that's what I would do. Display it, and then each of you take a turn at picking what you like until you don't have enough space, and then out it goes, if you wish. Hey, Bradley Hammer, so glad you're here. Sandra Likens says, I have 4 kids and foster children. I'm at a loss at how to organize their stuff. Yeah, thank you for taking in a foster child as well and trying to organize for everybody. What I would do is have the family come together and ask, and I don't know how old your kids are. I'm just making an assumption that they're maybe 6 years old and older. If they're not, then I apologize. Come back and I'll answer the question again. But assuming they're sort of age, I would ask each of them, if you had to organize and make something nice and neat, what would you do? What would you work on? And some of them would say their Legos, and others would say their toys. Oops, call coming in. I would just send your child in to do their organizing. So have this organizing session together as a group, and then say, okay, let's each come back in 30 minutes and let's see how much each of us got done on our little sections. Have them join in, Sandy, and hopefully that will be helpful. Okay? Who else do I have here? Sandra House says thank you. And I've got Gail Goddard watching. It's so good to see you, sort of, even though I can't really see you. I'm going to do another question from my group here, and we've got about 5 minutes left for Q&A. And, well, actually about 3 minutes. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to cover next week. Again, all of these videos are going to be free. This is the one thing that I can do right now. I have a certain set of skills. It's not on the front lines with nurses and doctors, but it is in the world of organizing, and I hope I'm helping you somehow. I've got Sunshine Fogelman, who's writing in and saying, I'm struggling with paperwork like medical bills and bills that are piling up. Things are on my kitchen table. So what do I do? And I suggested to her to pick 5 categories at the very least, 5 categories of your paperwork. For her, I'm suggesting bills, medical pile, a reading pile, a fall vacation pile, volunteer work pile. Those are some of the things that perhaps she might want to have as her piles. And as I mentioned earlier, you can use a bookshelf to do that stacking of the paperwork. So get your 5 category set, sort your items into each of those categories, put up sticky notes on the bookshelves. I know you can see behind me, but I would put a sticky shelf right here and say that's what's in the shelf below. So that paperwork can get sorted into those piles. Then, once you have your specific category of paper piles, go to one pile at a time. And I will do paper next week, but let's just talk about TRAF, which is TRAF. Toss it, route it, act on it, or file it. Hi, Jeanette. Thanks for watching. You probably know this already. But this is a little acronym by one of the other organizers in our organizing profession, Stephanie Winston. So let's just one more time go over it. You look at, let's say, a graduation announcement, and a graduation announcement comes in, and you look at it and you say, okay, TRAF, T, I'm going to toss it. I don't like the kid. I never liked the kid. I'm not going to go. So you toss it. Or R, you're going to route it. Hey, my husband knows this kid because they went to school together and played basketball. So I'll route it on to my husband. Hey, Beth Delagrave, how are you doing? A is for act on it. Oh, I'm going to go. I'm going to RSVP, or I'm going to get a card and I'm going to send a check for the wedding. Or you're going to do F, file that graduation announcement and say, wow, I really like what this person did. It's so beautiful. I want to do this for when my daughter graduates. So you can do 4 choices for every single piece of paper. So I hope that's helpful. We're winding down right now, so I would like to just do one more thing. Oh, and that's tell you what I'm going to cover next week. I'm going to talk about covering 11 weird ways to tell if you have too much stuff or not. And of course, I'll answer more of your questions. I truly hope that this has been helpful for you. I do want to look at one person. Ken Biddix is saying, Debbie and I and our friends and family and colleagues always appreciate your organizing advice as it improves everyone's quality of life. Well, you are welcome. I hope your quality of life, everybody out there, is improving. If you've got specific questions, believe it or not, I have been going in. Yesterday I had over 155 comments from yesterday's video and I answered all of them. Hope I can do the same for you today, but I will have more for you next week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Be safe, be healthy, and just take one tiny step, just one, to get that organizing going for yourself. Mindy Siegel-Baggett, thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you so much and lots of love. Talk to you next week.